Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Rob Mays, and you're listening to Pam and Dawn.
Hello, and welcome to Tuning Into TV. I'm your host, Dawn Mack, and I'm here with my friend, colleague, and bestie, and host, Pam. Hey, Pam, how are you?
I'm doing good. I had fun. How are you?
Oh, my gosh, I never know what you're going to come out of the gate with. Every time, ladies and gentlemen, every time. I never know. I do the same thing just about every show to kick it off. I don't know what she's going to come with. So, hey, well, right. I'm doing good. Been kind of trucking along at life. You know, life sometimes has this way of just kind of coming at you. But we're still here, and we're still hanging in there and taking each day as it comes. So I guess that's about the best you could hope for.
Absolutely. Nothing more that you can do is just live your life and get through the bumps and the grinds and try to have fun.
Yeah, and by the way, I know we rarely talk about weather. Sometimes we do. Kind of said that in jest a little bit. But oh my gosh, are you getting as much rain as we are getting here in the South? It's like every other day. We've got our weather here is so bipolar. It doesn't know if it's going to be spring, fall, summer, winter. It can't make up its mind. We're in May. At least the last time I checked the calendar, it said May. But the temperatures have been like fall. And we have rain every weekend now. So it's just, what are things like in Chicago for you? It's just craziness.
It's just nonstop, same thing. I mean,
oh my gosh,
we've had snow as recently as I think was it a week or so ago. I think it was about a week ago. We had snow. I mean, we had flurries. We didn't have a big snow where we got inches on the ground or anything. But I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, of course, over the years, it's not the first time in Chicago. But the thing is, we get to a point where we're just like fed up already. And it's supposed to bring, April showers bring May flowers. Well, now we're in May, and all I see in the future forecast for the next couple of weeks is rain. Yeah. And I'm so tired of it.
I know. Well, you're not alone. We're kind of getting fed up here in the South either. I try not to complain about weather per se because, no one has any control over it. But, this made me think of something. When we met a gazillion years ago, 10 or so years ago, do you remember back in the day when we would be comparing, like, okay, what's your weather like down there? What's your weather like up there? Do you remember when our temperatures, like this time, any time of year, we were always about 10 to 15 degrees above you guys? And now it's
minimum.
And now it's like we're just within a few degrees of each other, which is really, really crazy because it used not to be that way. And now our weather is kind of in sync.
The other day when I told you what our weather was like, and you sent me yours, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? That's your weather? Right. Because it was almost identical to what ours was.
Right, and it's like I'm saying, wait a minute, are you having North Carolina weather or are we having Chicago weather? Because you can't differentiate anymore. It's just like they're almost parallel, in terms of forecast. So, well, I tell you, there was no rain falling when we were talking, believe it or not. Literally, folks, when we were talking to our guest for today. Oh, my gosh. One of the best ever. I mean, it was such a joy talking to him. So much fun. And I'm talking about Rob Mays. Pam, I can't say enough good things about him. He was just incredible.
We love him. Don and I are in love now. I mean, we loved him before, but now we are like in love with him. You know?
He was just fabulous. As you all will be able to tell here momentarily, but he he was just this so positive vibe from the moment he called in. It was just like, wow. So if you're having a Debbie Downer kind of day, your mood's about to change for the better, folks, because Rob's energy is on fire, is on point, and he just makes you feel happy and good. And just listening to him talk about his life and his career, he was just wonderful.
Absolutely. He's so personable and down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like somebody
definitely.
I could call up and say, like if I were calling you, like one of my friends, and say,
right.
Hey, Rob, how you doing today? And just have a chit-chat with him, you know?
That's right. He was so cool and laid back. But on that note, we are just so excited to bring you our special interview today with the award-winning actor and producer, Rob Mays.
And be sure to check out Rob's new movie, Just Jake. And that'll be Friday, May 5th on Up Faith and Family. And then May 19th on Up TV, as well as his new song from the movie called Without You. It'll be released on May 19th, too.
And we are so excited and honored to bring you our interview now with Rob Mays.
Enjoy the show. Thank you so much for calling in and speaking with us. We know how extremely busy you are. I mean, anybody that just looks at your Instagram alone can tell. You got a million things going on.
Well, I like to say Instagram is usually smoke and mirrors, but lately it's not. It's been a busy few weeks, and I'm happy it's been so busy.
Oh, absolutely. We always start with the same question for everybody because we get such interesting answers. Sometimes they're funny. We just never know what's going to happen. How and when did you decide you wanted to be an actor and a singer?
Well, I grew up in a very musical family. My dad played drums. My dad still plays drums. My uncle played accordion. He still plays accordion. My dad was asked by my uncle, at this point in their lives, I was not even in the picture yet, but they were best friends. And there was this Lithuanian folk dance group that my uncle was a part of because he's Lithuanian. And he ended up asking my dad, he goes, hey, we need a drummer for this folk dance group. Would you want to come in and maybe audition and to go? And he did, and he got the job, and then he ended up meeting my uncle's sister, who turned out to be my mom. So kind of crazy how music, brought them together. And then, growing up, we had a piano in the house. I've been playing since I was 5, and guitar since I wasn't, that much older than that. And then, actually, funny story too. I don't know how old I was. I was at somebody's birthday party when I was probably 8 years old, 10 years old, something like that. And I was so scared, for whatever reason, that my dad had taken me. He had stayed in the car outside in the street for the full 2 hours or however long the party lasted. And the parents had played this game with us, with all the kids, and they put a sign, a name on the backs of each one of us with someone's name. And so we had to go around and ask all the kids yes or no answer questions to figure out who we were or who they deemed us to be or who they thought we were going to be when we grew up, And all these kids, they figured it out. They're Michael Jordan and Brett Favre, like all these, athletes and stuff. And I was the last man standing. I'm like, well, what the heck? I don't know who I am. And the mom finally goes, Tom Cruise.
How about
I said,
that?
What's a Tom Cruise? I had no idea. But that was kind of my first foray, glimpse into, film, I guess. And grew up making movies with my family's camcorder, running around the woods behind our house in Cleveland, Ohio, and, making these movies. And then, spending time in England doing some theater, and then moving to New York, and then was hoping to do theater there, and I ended up getting a Law and Order job, and then I got my first movie audition. I booked the lead in it, and been kind of doing it ever since. So that's kind of the long-ish shortened story in a very large nutshell.
Well, Mom always knows. Mom always knows best, as they say. So she really pegged that correctly, because what a career you've had. And speaking of, from the time you started your acting career, in what ways have you grown the most?
Mostly my waistline, I would think.
No.
That doesn't show on screen, Rob.
Right?
I really, and I always say it, I really wish that everybody had the opportunity, or got the opportunity, or would have the opportunity to be able to even in a small little snippet of what we do, to experience it, to get that opportunity, to be on stage, or to be in front of a camera, and even if it's just making, movies with your iPhone or whatever at the house, like that experience of being on a set, no matter how big or small it is, and learning and having to listen to someone else say their lines and connect with them, and then for you to respond in turn, it is one of the most simple but also most difficult things, I think, for human beings to do. And it comes down to conversation, and conversation's about listening, and I think that a lot of people, we don't like to listen. We want to talk, as I'm doing at length right now. But, it's a real skill that I think I've come to learn a lot from and about, in doing what I've been doing and been blessed to be able to do now for so many years.
Well, I'll tell you, if Dawn and I didn't take time to listen, we wouldn't be doing many interviews if we just kept talking and had a guest.
That's so true.
We'd be out of a job. Nobody would want to come on and talk to us because we wouldn't listen.
Very true, very true.
Well, you won Best Actor for your role in A Soldier's Revenge. What were your first thoughts when you went through your head when you found out?
Man, that was cool. That was really cool. I mean, that was my first award, that I won in that kind of capacity. That was a special project. That reunited me with my director, Mike Pfeiffer, for the, I don't even know, fourth time maybe? I think it's our fourth movie together. And he came to me and was like, man, I got this movie and I got this role, and he kind of pitched it, and then I got the opportunity to read the script, and it was daunting. Like, there are scenes in that movie that, I don't know if you guys have seen it, and if you haven't, it's really worth a watch. I mean, between Val Kilmer and Jake Busey, I mean, it's exceptional. And Mike did such a great job with that script. An amazing cast and directing it. But some of these scenes would go on for like 8 pages or 11 pages, I think it was. Something crazy like that. Like, you never see that. And there was one major sequence in the movie, and very pivotal to my character's denouement, if you will. And it went on for, like I said, 8 to 11 pages. And I got to work on that day. And my God, I was nervous. And Mike goes, "How you doing?" I said, "Nervous as hell." And he goes, "It's going to be great. Let's go." And I did not feel ready at all. And I did all the preparation that I could do. And I said, well, the hell with it. I'll roll the dice and see what happens. And he likes to shoot sometimes with 2 or even 3 cameras going at once. And he'll do like, a really, really tight lens on one. Then he'll have like a really wide on the other. And so I always like to joke, doing his movies, it's kind of like, big body, small face. Like, you want to keep it contained emotionally in your face. If he's getting, a medium or a close-up, at the same time he's getting like this super wide establishing shot. And it's kind of an insane way to work, but it keeps you super, super present, so it's not like you're just, this is just my close-up, it's just my face right now, blah, blah, blah. And anyhow, we rolled the dice and he said, actually we went for it. And somehow, by the grace of God, 11 or 8 pages, whatever it was, of monologues for me somehow came out of me. And it's never happened before, and who knows if it'll ever happen again. But on that first take, he yelled cut, those 3 cameras rolled, and we did it, and the entire crew got up on their feet and gave me a standing ovation.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we did it again. and again, and again, and again.
Well, when you said you just kind of rolled the dice, and I think sometimes we can be our own worst enemy because we get inside our heads, we overthink things, especially if it's something that we really want to get right on that first take or that first try. And sometimes it trips us up instead of just rolling the dice and going with it and seeing how it comes out. So I'd say in this case, doing that was the best gamble ever because it paid off handsomely for you. And so congratulations on that. But, yeah, I have not actually seen the movie, but I am going to watch that because I love anything about soldiers in general. I love movies along those lines. So it's going to be a good one, especially now that you've given us such a great backdrop to that.
And it being Mental Health Awareness Month now, the whole backdrop of that movie it's about PTSD.
Oh wow!
And that's what my character and some other characters are going through and dealing with and struggling with. And initially, it was called A Soldier's Heart. That was the name of the movie initially when we shot it. I thought, oh, okay, well, that sounds kind of nice and it's like romantic maybe. No, not at all. But they called PTSD back during the Civil War a soldier's heart because these guys would come back from war and they'd be so wounded, emotionally from what they witnessed and what they went through. And that was the term for PTSD. And then, fast forward, however many years, and we find ourselves in another war. And World War II, right? World War I, shell shock, and then each kind of war rebranded, PTSD. But it's been there since the beginning of time, since we've been warring.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's near and dear to me, because I served in the military. I still have friends that are in. In fact, I had a buddy in town in Nashville just over the weekend, and I got to see him. I hadn't seen him since 15 plus years ago when I was at the Naval Academy. But that's very near and dear to me, so that's one of the reasons it drew me to that project, and just a little FYI.
Well, you did a great job, and, and that's just but one of many things and accolades that you've received just watching your work through the years, and you are an extremely talented actor, and you're also a tremendous singer-songwriter and a producer. And so have you ever thought about writing a movie? You've starred in so many, but have you ever just said, I'd love to just write one day?
I would love to write a script. I don't know, though, excuse me, I don't know where I would start. And it's part of the, the double-edged blade sword, I have so many interests. It's like there's only so much time in a day. There's almost only so much time in your life to learn these things and, to learn them well. And to learn things well, it takes time,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could just, like we just talked about, roll the dice and give it a go. But, in my estimation, I would rather come up with the idea and then, partner with the screenwriter. And I've done this, already. And, kind of, mull over the idea together and then, trust them to do what they do and, write a great screenplay, like they know how to do. Like I wouldn't know how to start that.
Well, what you could do is take one of your awesome songs that tell a story and make it into a movie.
There you go.
Hey, now we're thinking.
Okay.
I like that.
I want credit. I want credit for that if you follow through.
I got you.
Well, as an actor, you've been in some of my favorite movies of all time, and one of them is Sweet on You with Haley Duff, which has played several times over the past couple of months on Up TV, so it's been wonderful to be able to catch it whenever you want to. It's such a sweet movie, pun intended. Ha ha ha! I know. But Drew was all business until he went to Cedar Creek after he inherited it, and he discovers the sweeter side of life. How do you keep yourself grounded and discover those little sweetnesses?
Man, it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder because it's so easy to get caught up in the riffraff and all the hustle and bustle and, really about the hustle of it all. And to do what, I'm blessed to be able to do, it requires a lot of hustle. Like, I don't know. I got some friends who, they get up in the morning, they go surfing, and then, they kind of chill out the rest of the day, it seems, and then next thing you know, they're getting offers on all these movies and going from series to series to series and having a blast, and, good on them, and I'm happy for them, and I'm proud for them and proud of them. It's not the way it works in my world. Like, I work hard to do and be able to do what I do. So it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of faith. And, it's a good reminder to kind of slow down and remember that, we're all human and that we all make mistakes and, we all got our own pitfalls and obstacles and all that fun, good stuff. I packed up L.A. a while ago and I moved out to the country in Nashville. And, as we talk right now, I'm looking out at my grass that needs to get cut. So that'll keep you grounded.
Right. That will certainly keep you grounded. It's like, ooh, household chores, for sure. The everyday adulting things of life that, we all have to do. Not always the funnest parts, but it is part of it, right? So, speaking of movies, of it, and
it's finding the joy in it too, and music. I mean, taking a moment to back to listening. I mean, you need to listen to music really to fully and thoroughly enjoy it. You can passively listen to it, or you can really get into it and dissect the lyrics and the movements and the all that stuff. And
oh yeah,
I just think the deeper you go, the more present you are, and the more that you live into the moment.
Now, see, that's a good quote. The deeper you go, the more present you are. I love that. So that is a great quote. I'm gonna catalog that, Rob, because that's pretty profound. But it's so true. And you do have to kind of go deep sometimes because it kind of takes you out of the world, so to speak, and it kind of puts you back, balances you out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You have got a brand new movie coming out very soon, Just Jake, and we are so excited to be seeing this. It's going to premiere on Up TV Faith and Family this Friday, and then on Up TV on May 19th. And what can you share with us about this movie without giving too much away?
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's about a character that I get to portray, and he lives in Nashville and he's making country music, and he ends up having some viral success on our movie's equivalent of TikTok. And then he shortly thereafter realizes that he's not carrying his own weight and not doing enough, and hasn't been writing, and he's been struggling with his writer's block, and he ends up getting dropped from the label, and he and his manager end up setting out to go back home. And that's kind of where I'll leave it, because I want you guys to watch it. But it's beautiful. There's some amazing music in it that we've written. I was actually on a call earlier today with the network, and I said, it's one thing, to make a good movie that has, really good original music in it, and it's another thing to make, a really good movie that has great original music in it. And I think that's what we accomplished with Just Jake.
Well, I watched the trailer for Just Jake, and I'm telling you, I'm just counting the minutes before it comes on TV. It's just so good. And speaking of the song, you did a duet with Lauren. I don't know how you say her name. Is it Masidi?
Yeah, Lauren Masidi. Yes.
for Without You.
Another crazy thing how that came to be. You know, we sat down, me and Will Weatherly, Heath Warren, Eric Van Houten. You know, Heath, I think just yesterday was celebrating his six-week #1 with his song with Bailey Zimmerman at Country Radio. Will Weatherly just had his, I got to figure out what number it is now, but it's 4, 5, 6, 7 #1, something crazy with the Dustin Lynch song just a couple of weeks ago. You know, so we all got together and we wrote these 2 songs for the movie. And, you know, I fell in love with the big hero song of the movie so much that I decided to cut it myself. And I had been at the Opry, the Grand Ole Opry, in the audience, but sitting there 5th, 6th row, dead center, and my buddy was on stage. He invited me to be his guest for the night. And out came Lauren, and she was a special guest, wasn't on the bill, didn't know she was going to be there, and I didn't even know her, but I realized watching her, I was like, wait a minute, I think we follow each other on Instagram, you know. And so I reached out, I tagged her in a couple of videos, and then she responded, and I said, is there any world in which you might somehow, you know, considering duetting this song with me? And I sent her the track, and she said, oh my goodness, I love it. Absolutely, I'm all in. So she went in the studio and did something spectacular on it, and it comes out May 19th, Without You. You can pre-save now. And I will say it helps so much.
And mine's pre-saved.
Thank you. It really makes a world of difference in terms of, you know, the editorial playlisting consideration at the Spotify's and the Apples and all the music services. Every single pre-save, which only takes a moment to do, and it's completely free, makes a world of difference, you know, in their eyes and for an independent artist.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I pre-saved it on Spotify, so yeah, it's extremely easy to do. Now, what's your process when writing a song you're welcome, for a movie versus music in general? Is there any difference? Do you have to know what the movie's about, you know, completely, or?
That's a really good question. It's been coming up more and more, you know, in the writer rooms. You know, there's people write for sync, right, for movies and for TV shows, and a lot of times they'll have like these like pitch sheets, or I don't even know how that stuff works because I haven't even experienced it yet myself. But these shows or movies will say like what they're looking for tonally, and then you'll have sometimes 24 hours to write a song, record it, and get it back to them, you know, for them to review. You know, I've had the good luck of being able to do some of these movies and TV shows, and then having, you know, the producers come to me and say, hey, or the director or whatever, and say, hey, you know, do you have some songs that might fit for the movie? And it so happens that sometimes I do, and somehow it gets in the movie, and it's been really, really cool. You know, I got to write a song for one of my last movies, 5,000 Blankets, that Sony Affirm put out, that went to PureFlix. We were in, I don't know, 1,200 theaters there for a very short run. Towards the end of last year, we ended up winning a Movie Guide Award for Best Independent Movie of the Year, Most Inspirational. And, you know, I said, hey, I'd love to try to write a song for the movie. And I did, and they liked it. And the woman that the movie is based on ended up coming into town and surprising me, ended up calling my hotel room from the lobby and saying, hey, I'm downstairs. And I said, wait, what? And I went down there, and we chatted for a while. And, you know, the movie's a true story, and it's all about her life. And I played her the song that I had just recorded on my phone, just a voice note. And we listened to it together, and she started crying. She said she loved it so much. Aww. And, you know, it made its way into the movie. And, you know, I think to answer your question, I think there's this a difference in writing in that kind of capacity because it's kind of about the space, the silence, how you structure the song. It's less about sometimes what's played and what's said and more about what's not, because you're watching this unfold on screen. So there's already so much happening there. The song just kind of needs to support and buttress, the story of that scene, of the movie. I think that answers your question.
Well, and undoubtedly you're just an amazing songwriter, and that is a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that is a true testament that you have created something special when it can move someone to tears. And that is always a beautiful thing. I mean, I don't think there's anything in the world that is more universal or more emotion-invoking or thought-provoking than music. And it is a universal language that everyone can identify. It doesn't matter, where people come from, different walks of life. It seems like music is just that one thing that brings people together in so many ways, like nothing else can.
I completely agree. And it's amazing that, even if the lyrics are in a language that, we're not native to, or that we don't speak, like that it can still speak to us. Like that's a crazy, powerful thing. Yes, it is. Very much so. And it tends to bring people together, and then you just forget about everything else that you may be at odds about. It's just wonderful the way music works. And I love music. I just do. It's always done something for me. It's very cathartic. It's very therapeutic. And you've got a song for every mood. It's just the way it is. No matter what you're feeling, you can find music to fit that. So it's just a beautiful thing. Well, before we wrap up, Pam and I always like to do a fun little lightning round. It's 5 questions. And there are no wrong answers, by the way. It's just totally fun and off the cuff. And so we've got a couple questions for you. They're very quick and simple. And so the first question is, speaking of music and songs, what is your current favorite song that you're listening to? Ooh. Lightning, right? As I take a long time to ponder the question.
It can be as long as you want it to be. We just call it the lightning round because, it's just what we call it. But it can be as long as you need it to be.
I think Lainey Wilson's incredible, and, she's got a song that I think it came out last year before? No, last year I think it was. Things a Man Ought to Know. And it's just great. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's amazing. That song I think is just so well crafted, so well produced, so well sung. Mm-hmm. Cody Johnson's Till You Can't is another one that I first heard way back when, and I think it was before it was even a single or before they announced it being a single. And I thought, man, this is going to be Song of the Year. And sure enough, it's nominated for everything, for another ACM coming up, next week or week after next. And they won the Grammy for best country song just a couple of months ago. And somehow I've got a song myself with Ben Stennis himself, who wrote that song with Matt Rogers. And that song will be coming out later this summer as well. So pretty cool.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. What is your favorite vacation spot?
Well, I would say Mexico, but my brother was just down there, and they had to run from a bunch of guns going off. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say a warm, beautiful beach with nice, clear water. Let's leave it at that.
There you go.
That
All
works.
right. I know, and that could be anywhere in the world, by the way.
Yes.
What is your favorite holiday?
I love Thanksgiving because there's no gifts. That's not what it's about. I think the gift is, the fact that we're alive and that
Right.
You know, we can be grateful for what we do have, whatever that might be. Family and hopefully food, and even though I don't like turkey, it makes you real tired. I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah, true, it does. All right. Do you prefer to cook or get takeout?
I love making a good steak, but I'll tell you, I've been so crazed with stuff lately. I haven't had the chance to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I just can't find the time. So it's been a lot of eating out.
Yeah. It's been a takeout world for you.
Yes.
And last but not least, would you prefer to read a book or watch a movie?
I love to read. And I used to read a lot. And then with reading more scripts, I think I've I don't know, maybe don't have the energy to read as many books as I used to. But I just finished a great one by Chuck Greaves, who we shot a pilot together a couple years ago in Colorado. He's an amazing author. If you don't know him, you should check him out. Chuck Greaves is incredible. He has a book called Church of the Graveyard Saints, which is just great. So I just finished that. I'm in the midst of a couple others, and I think there's something to be said for, getting to use our own imaginations, and that's, what a good book can allow us to do, no matter how detailed it might be. We end up kind of, I don't know, cooking with those details, and then making our own kind of meal out of what is already there on the page, which is like such a simple thing to have words on a page in a book, but can really do wonders for us, learning how to be better people and learning about the world. And so books, final answer.
Books are kind of like music because, like you say, it can take you places that you would never dream of otherwise. And it really allows your imagination to just run wild and to go many different places, just like music can kind of take you to those places as well. So very much so. Well, thank you for playing along. We appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Well, before we let you go, I know you have a couple of upcoming shows. You want to go ahead and give those a shout-out on where you're going to be on what day, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, actually, I got a bunch of shows coming up. I'm playing the Bluebird Cafe here on Friday of this week. Big day for me with Just Jay coming out on the streamer Up Faith and Family, and then I'll be playing the Bluebird Cafe 6 p.m. on the 5th in 2 days. I think it's sold out, as pretty much I think every show at the Bluebird does these days in a matter of 60 seconds. But looking forward to that. That's the Songwriter's Mecca, and feel very blessed to be asked to come back for my second time to play there. I've got a couple more shows coming up. I'm playing at Jolton Hardware in Nashville on the 10th. A writer's round from 7 to 9. So if you guys are out and about and in the area, anybody, come on out, check that out. It's a really, really cool spot. Should be some good music. And then off the top of my head right now, I can't even think of the rest of my shows that I got lined up, but I will be posting that all to my socials, to Instagram, Hog City. Over there you can find me, and Twitter and all the fun stuff.
Absolutely. And if you ever make it to Chicago, I will be at a show, but unfortunately I won't be in Tennessee, so I can't go see you.
Well, I am due for a Chicago trip, so I will let you guys know for sure. And I will say,
okay.
When I look at my streaming numbers, Chicago is actually a big big city in terms of consumption of my music. There's a lot of listeners there that for some reason listen to my stuff. So shout out to you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
We're very wise when it comes to our music.
That was good, Pam. No, that's great. That's awesome. And if you ever get to North Carolina.
John is in North Carolina.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm in the South, so not that my accent would ever give that away, but if you're ever in North Carolina, let us know. I'd love to come out and see you perform and let everybody I know about it. So that would be really cool.
Man, I would love to. And if you've got a venue that you like, small, cool, intimate venue, let me know.
Sure.
Let's reach out to them. I'd love to set up a show, and I haven't been down that way in a long time, so I don't even know where I'd start. But I would love your help in doing so if you're up for it.
Sure. I'll check into that and send some stuff to your publicist and get you in here. We need you in the state. I think it would be awesome to have you on board here in North Carolina. And there's lots of big cities. So from Raleigh to Charlotte, those are the two Mecca cities in North Carolina. So there's probably something somewhere along the way, I'm sure.
Let's figure it out.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Well,
so now that we all have a plan.
That's right.
I want to thank you from Dawn and myself so very much for speaking with us today. It was a blast. And we welcome you back anytime.
Man, I would love to. Really enjoyed this. Thanks for taking the time. And this was a good conversation. Really, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rob.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So much fun.
Yes.
Awesome,
yes,
guys.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again, and let's chat soon, and hopefully I'll see you in one of your cities soon.
Sounds good.
Wonderful.
Have a good night.
All right. So long.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Tuning Into TV, where we feature interviews with actors from television and movies, both past and present. Be sure to follow us on social media at Tuning Into TV, and that's with the number 2, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And be sure to also check out our website at tuningintotv.com. That's the number 2, tuningintotv.com. And feel free to drop us a line with questions and comments at tuningintotv@gmail.com. Again, that's with the number 2.
And thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more to come.